laid off, I stopped paying my credit card debt. I said, if you want to get your money, fucking sue me.
What if they sue you? Good question. Once a collection agency files a lawsuit, it's a lot bigger of a headache than it would have been had.
If you have a collection, they will sue you.
Steve, what happens if you're being sued by a debt collector?
The first thing you do is you don't panic. The second thing you do is start to make plans to sue them right back. I'm going to tell you something. It's not a difficult task at all. They've opened themselves up wide open for a lawsuit. When they get wind of the idea that you're going to sue them back, and that proposition far outweighs what they're coming after you for, they're going to want to fold their tent in a hurry. Now, I know this sounds easy. You know, a lot of people are saying get validation of debt letters and things like that. Look, there's really a lot to all of this, but it doesn't have to be that complicated. And it really is just as simple as being able to sue them back, because in their process of collecting their debt, they have absolutely violated your rights as a consumer. And if you're able to prove that, just demonstrate that to them on paper, both to the court and to the plaintiff and the plaintiff's attorney, you're going to win the case hands down. How are you going to win it? Because you're going to sue them back. Not too many people know about this. If you're looking for help, if you're looking for answers, if you've gotten served by a process server, getting sued by a debt collector, click on the link in my bio. I'm glad to.
I posted a video about fighting an old credit card debt because they're trying to sue me and garnish my wages. And I have a lot of people in my comments telling me I should pay my bills. No, unless it's an immediate monthly bill that could get something cut off in my house, it is not considered a necessity to me. I don't care if I rack up the debt myself. If I can't pay it and I don't pay it, you gotta fight me for it. There is no moral compass when it comes to these companies for me. I don't give a f. There was also a lot of people very concerned about my credit score. You guys are more concerned about it than me. I don't care about my credit score. A lot of people move through life without actually ever using their credit score. I'm one of those people. I don't let their scare tactics scare me. The debts get passed from company to company to company to company, and by the time it gets to company number 5, they paid like $2 for my $900 debt. They're not getting that money. End of story.
Unless they take you to court, which they did with this person, and are also trying to garnish her wages. Seems like they are going to be getting their money at the end of the day. And just like her saying she has no moral compass for these companies, neither do they. They don't care what's going on in your life. They just want their money. And also her saying she doesn't care about credit score, she's not going to use it, probably because it tanked. It's very difficult in today's age to go through life not using it at all. Obviously, people are going to look at it for any future credit cards, if you want a mortgage, a car loan. But even if you want to rent an apartment now, landlords check your credit. So does that mean you're going to pay everything in full in cash for the rest of your life? With home prices being an average $400,000 and a new vehicle being $50,000, I don't think too many people could do that.
Here's day one of trying to come up with $10,000 because I'm being sued. And why do I feel like it's always a Mary trying to make you feel bad about your situation? Come on, Mary. Aren't Marys supposed to be like holy and forgiving? So why am I being sued for $10,000 actually? Because I tried to go to college. Because I graduated from college, actually. So around my second year of college, I decided to get a credit card because books themselves were $3,600. As a 20-year-old who was in college, clearly didn't have a job and needed a way to come up with money for books, for food, for basic necessities. And let me remind you, this is what these cards prey on, okay? You literally see notifications everywhere. Get the student credit card and get $1,000 back on every book you buy. Not true, by the way. So then, of course, as any college student would do, I rack up the credit card, buying my books, buying my food, sometimes my alcohol, and then I graduated in 2020. What else happened in 2020? A global pandemic. A global pandemic where nobody was allowed to what? Work. That's right. So if I can't work, I can't pay off my credit card. Correct. And what year did COVID end? 2022. Correct. Meaning I didn't have a job for 2 years. And what was I doing during those 2 years? I went back to college. I went back to college to get my master's degree, only adding more onto the credit card. But it was okay. I was going to be able to pay it once I got out of college. Until I graduated from my master's program, right? Tried to get a job. only to find out the master's program that I was in was unaccredited. It was a scam that was using COVID-19 as a remote school to get money out of people. So what does that mean? That means I now am $50,000 in debt to a school that wasn't real. That means I can't get a job with my master's degree that wasn't real. That also means I can't pay for the credit card. Oh my. Not to mention, by the time that I was even going to be able to pay the credit card, it was already in collections. This is 3 years of COVID and 3 years that I didn't have a job. I couldn't pay it. And to be honest, I thought once it was collections, it was out of my hands. I didn't think it meant anything. I even had to put that shit on my taxes. I thought it was over. I really did. Clearly, it's not over because apparently they've been trying to serve me twice. Haven't been able to serve me. But there's a court case, and I'm being sued for $10,000, so cute. Go to college, they say. Buy your books, they say. You'll be a millionaire if you just go to college.
So bankruptcy comes up a lot. I mean, a lot. When I post stuff, I got people fired off, just filed bankruptcy, just filed bankruptcy. But you know what? Let's be honest about this for a second. These people don't know you. They don't know your situation. So don't listen to just file bankruptcy, right? Don't do that. Just think about it for a second. If you're getting sued for $1,200 by, let's just say, Credit One and Midland Funding is coming after you, do you think you should file bankruptcy? Spend all that fucking money, have 7 years of shit credit? No. I don't think it's a good idea. You owe 50 large? Sounds right. Sounds like something you might want to do. My name's Attorney Greg Singer. Yes, I am an attorney, but I'm not your attorney, so please don't take this as legal advice. My thought is this. Everybody has their own situation. Everybody has their own shit going on. Don't just listen to file bankruptcy. Think about it. And by the way, you can ask questions all you want. Ask. You're not getting legal advice. Peace.
Because LVMV sued me. And
I wanted to give this to you as a tip. At the very end of your video where you said this doesn't solve your problem, and you really need to pay attention to that. There are so many people, good for you showing up to court, but there is so many people that will say, it's dismissed, I won. You didn't win just because it's dismissed. And like the judge did tell you, which I think that was wonderful that the judge did tell you, this doesn't solve your problem. That just means it was dismissed for now. No legal action will take place right now. No default judgment will take place right now. LVNV funding will still try to collect the debt, or they will send it back to the original. I watched your whole video. They'll send it back to the original creditor, and then they will still collect on the debt. So just because that case was dismissed, again, like the judge said, it's not resolved. So I don't want you to think that this is over yet, because it's not over yet. So I would see whoever the original creditor is, contact them and see, have they sold it to somebody else? Call LVNV funding and see, do they still have it? Have they sold it to somebody else? Because just because it is dismissed doesn't mean that this account is resolved. But I'm proud of you for posting that video, and I wish you the very best. Again, this goes out to everybody who has collections on their credit report. Showing up to court and them saying it's dismissed instead of it being resolved, there's a big difference. So I'm glad that you posted this video, but I did want to jump in here since I have been repairing credit for 23 years. I know exactly how you were shaking in your boots, how you said you were nervous, and now you feel like it's relieved. Don't rest on the dismissed yet. You still need to get this collection account resolved. And if you need my help, I'd be happy to help you. 619-771-8828.
If you're getting sued in small claims court for an old credit card, listen up. You can't blow off court. You just can't do it. I know you wanna, because nobody wants to go to court. I don't want to go to court. So don't blow off court. Go to ProveItToolkit.com right now and get all the documents you need to shut them down and what? Make them prove it. My name is Attorney Greg Singer. I am an attorney, but I'm not your attorney, so please don't take this as legal advice. Peace.
If you're being sued for credit card debt, this is where most people lose. First, that lawsuit is usually filed by a debt buyer, not your original bank. That means they often don't have the original contract, and without it, they legally can't prove the debt. Second, you must file a formal answer. Not a phone call, not a letter, an answer. And over 90% of people lose by default because they never respond. Third, check your statute of limitations in your state. If it's expired, the debt is legally unenforceable. If you need help with a debt collection summons, come and help or send me an email.
When I got laid off, I stopped paying my credit card debt. I said, if you want to get your money, fucking sue me. Well, there's a company suing me right now, but they probably bought the debt in batch. So I was looking into ways on how I could respond to the summons asking them to verify the debt. And there was 2 forms that I could fill out. Well, my husband comes home and he says, why don't you just have a lawyer do it? We pay for the services. So I'm like, oh yeah, good idea. I get the call from the lawyer today and he's talking about making a payment plan with these people. I said, okay, why would I do that? Well, I told him my theory is they send out all of these summons just before Christmas because 70% of the time people do not respond to them and their wages end up getting garnished. And the reason I know this is because it's happened to me before and I remember it happening just before Christmas and I forgot about it. And this time I didn't want to forget about it. So I explained to him what I wanted to do and he says, I've been in the business for 22 years and they'll be able to verify it. You're just kicking the can down the road. I said, I don't care. I said I would still like to at least try because I'm on unemployment. It's just before the holidays and I know they're banking on me not responding and I don't have anything for them to garnish and I understand that they can lien my house. So I don't want to pay this right now. I don't have time for it. So if all we're going to do is kick the can down a little bit, I would prefer to just do that. And if it ends up getting dismissed, even better. And instead of doing it myself, I thought I would get an expert to do it for me. So this is the route I would like to take. At the end of the conversation, he was like, Jenny, I don't want you to stress this season. I will take care of this. You don't have to worry about a thing. I will make sure this is taken care of for you. That man is going to get that shit dismissed.
You're being sued for that debt lawsuit because you believe the lies. You believe the lie where someone told you that the original creditor can't report the account to your credit report without your permission. You believe the lie that they have to provide you with the wet signature and the original contract and the purchase agreement when you ask for a debt validation. You believe the lie that if the account was charged off, then that means that the original creditor was paid for it and not the fact that it's an actual tax recording. Those are the lies that you believe, and then you're wondering why you're being sued for a debt collection lawsuit.
So what is the debt lawsuit and why does it matter? Hi, I'm Casey Smith, and I'm a debt defense attorney in Texas. For more than a decade, I have helped defend consumers and business owners against credit cards and lenders who are filing a lawsuit for an alleged unpaid debt. A debt lawsuit is based in a contract for lending. Whenever that agreement is breached, typically by the alleged unpaid or unmade payment on the loan or credit card, the lender will oftentimes charge off the account and file a lawsuit to recover. When the lender or the credit card company charges this off, they oftentimes add additional interest and fees that drive the dollar amount of the debt up incredibly high and make it very difficult for the consumer to repay the debt. This is why many consumers choose to get an attorney involved when they've been sued for a debt to make sure that the matter is in fact truly resolved, that it's updated correctly with the courts, and that the creditor cannot come back at some future date and make further allegations against them. If you've been sued for an unpaid credit card or loan in Texas, don't wait, get help. Seek counsel. We do a free consultation and we can help defend your rights and protect your financial future.
You know, what I have here is an American Express debt collection lawsuit. They file lawsuits just like other creditors. If you don't pay your credit cards, they file debt collection lawsuits in your local courts. Whatever county you live in, they file lawsuits publicly. They list your name, address. A lot of times they file the account statements. Whatever charges you made on the credit card could be filed publicly with the court. These lawsuits cannot be ignored. If you're served with a lawsuit, which happens pretty much every time you default on a credit card, there's a high chance you're going to be sued for it. So if you default on an Amex card or any other creditor, you got to reach out for help. Hire a debt relief law firm to defend you.
Here's another one that I get asked questions about, or people don't understand when a debt is considered time barred. A time-barred debt means that the statute of limitation has run out based on your state's law when it comes to being able to collect on a debt. So let's find out if your debt is considered time barred. So debts have time limits. Even when it comes to credit reporting, you can only a debt can only be reported to your credit reports for up to 7 years, right? After 7 years, it has to be removed, okay? There is a debt time bar limit when it comes to being able to file lawsuits. And a lot of these debt collecting lawyers know this, and sometimes they will still try it because they hope that you, the defendant, won't show up in court. You won't answer the lawsuit, so they're just banking on the fact that you're not knowledgeable and that they're going to be able to collect on it. A judge is never going to say, hey, I'm looking at this lawsuit and this debt is time bar based off the facts of this case, okay? So you need to know what is considered a time bar debt based on the state statute of limitation, your state statute of limitation where the debt incurred. So for instance, you can always go onto Google and type in states, your state, Illinois, Texas, Georgia, California, whoever, state statute of limitations for debt. And it will bring up the time frame. It'll also tell you that it's from the date of first delinquency, not the date the account closed, okay? Not the date that the debt collecting company purchased the debt or bought the debt or is assigned to the debt. So for instance, Texas, because I'm in Texas, statute of limitations for written, oral, promissory contracts for debt is 4 years from the date of first delinquency, okay? Which is Texas is one of the only few states where the time limit is 4 years, okay? Delaware is one of the states that's 3 years, okay? So when you are being sued for a debt or an account, however they stated on the lawsuit, I want you to do the first thing when it comes to the account. I want you to look at the date of first delinquency. Then I want you to go and Google your state statute of limitations on the time frame to be able to collect on the debt. And what I mean by collect on a debt is being able to file a lawsuit on the debt on the account, okay? And then from there, you may or may not you may have a defense, especially if it's considered a time bar debt because the state statute of limitation has expired, okay? So you have rights, you can fight. Don't just roll over when it comes to these debt collection lawsuits, because that is what the attorney is banking on, is that you just don't care enough and they are going to go ahead and get the easy win. Don't roll over with these debt lawsuits. Fight, fight, fight. Okay. And if you have any questions about, how to actually understand when it comes to state statute of limitations, I can give you legal information, but I can't give you legal advice. Okay. So I can do the research, but it's not legal advice. You do whatever you want with the legal information. Other than that, if you're being sued and you're just like, I don't know what to do next, go ahead and click on that debt defense response kit in the link in the profile, and let us help you prepare to defend yourself.
There are a lot of things in this world that don't mean, but I'm here to tell you that if you are sued by a creditor because you have not paid them and they get a judgment against you, it means, okay? Coming from the lawyer. I don't know where this guy went to law school, but I'm here to tell you that if you live in any other state other than North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, and Pennsylvania, a creditor will take that judgment and they will garnish your ongoing wages at 25%. It's 25% here in Ohio, right off the top. They can also garnish your bank account. And oh, by the way, they can put a lien on your real estate. The home that you live in with your family. Now, if you don't have a job and you don't have a bank account and you don't have real estate and you don't ever plan to have any of those, yeah, screw it. But if you do want a life, you're gonna have to address these things. Come and follow in life for more. Don't listen to this guy.
And especially with the almost YOLO mentality, which is, I know, very cringe to say in 2025, but the doom spending and instant gratification, people will just think that, oh, this is what my life's going to be, whatever. I won't have a bank account or any land I'm just going to spend, do whatever I want until I'm 80 and die. But life happens and things change, especially over time. Maybe you do want a life down the road, but you've made some catastrophic choices in the past, and you can't live the life that you want. But from what she said, North Carolina, South Carolina, Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Texas are the only states that won't do this. We see a whole bunch of the comments. That's why Texas is so awesome. LOL. Too bad for them. I don't want to have a job, nor do I want property. Also, I'm in North Carolina again. You may think that way now, but it could completely change in the future. One of the best examples for myself, when I was around 17, 18 years old, I didn't want to have any kids. And now currently I'd like a somewhat big family. I guess in today's world, 3 or 4 kids. Drastically different choices, but that's what happens with time. So if you make one of these choices in the past, it could really come back to bite you in the future.
What if they sue you? Good question. Once a collection agency files a lawsuit, it's a lot bigger of a headache than it would have been had you just disputed your collections before it turned into a lawsuit. But you've got a few options once this does happen. Number one, you can get a lawyer and fight it in court. Obviously, that can be a little bit pricey. Number two, you can also just do the work to learn how to represent yourself. It's not easy. It does take a little bit of time and effort, but you can do that too. And the other option, which we help out with, is you can just negotiate the debt to settle it. There are specific techniques in terms of how to go about that to get the best result, but if you need assistance negotiating something you're already being sued for, let me know. Just comment help and I'll reach out. One last note, again, this is why you want to dispute your collections before they turn into lawsuits, because the level of headache is much higher after that's already happened. If you need assistance, comment help, I'll reach out.
So I'm getting sued by a credit card company. It's an old credit card. I have trial this morning, and I was served my papers about 2 months ago, and I've done a lot of research as far as what I need to do, what I should say, and from what I was seeing in other videos, a lot of you guys actually are going through the same thing. So I try to do my own research, got as ready as I think I could be, got all my papers and stuff this morning. We'll see how this turns out. I'm about to go in. My trial is, I have the appointment for my trial at 11 a.m., so that's in less than an hour here. But if I end up coming out on top, I'll try to make another video if you guys are interested, just in regards to what I did, what I said, the route I took in order to fight this thing back. So wish me luck, and I'll see you guys after court.
What I find interesting with a lot of these clips having to fight back and what you're supposed to say in court, I guess a win is to try to settle, is that it's almost like these people didn't run up their cards in the first place. Now, I know there are some cases right now in 2025 with the high cost of living, people are just buying necessities with their credit cards because they can't afford to survive on their salary. But as we're going to see, a lot of people have the exact same excuse. Oh, it was a really old credit card. I thought I'd pay it back eventually. Maybe it wasn't even a lot of money, so they basically played chicken with the credit card companies. Oh, you won't sue me for $1,000, and then they go and do it. Some of the examples in this video are crazy because people actually had the money, they just decided not to pay it off. I don't know what the thought process is, but we can look at a couple of the comments and hear the polar opposite stories. I had court for a credit card and didn't go and nothing happened. Guess what I got? Another credit card. Sounds like somebody who would just be perpetually in debt, never saving up for anything, getting whatever they want, and never being financially ahead. Along with the next comment, I filed bankruptcy when they tried suing me. Another reason why I don't like bankruptcy, it's just a reset switch for people, not an actual way to change their lives, almost like a get out of jail free card. We have another Bank of America sued me. I didn't go, which I should have. 7 years later, they found out where I worked and garnished my wages. That almost took me out. Always show up. Same exact thing happened with a comment from one of you guys. I thought I was going to skip out on my debt, but then I got sued. I guess it's kind of the same mentality with the PPP loan fraud. If I just don't respond and it's been years, they won't go after me. They'll just forget about it. They got more important stuff to do. And honestly, that's just not the case. I'm getting sued by a credit card company and have court tomorrow. I'm poor. Any tips? And when you go over to the comment section, can I ask you what credit card company it was? TJ Maxx credit card. So just another example of why I say this kind of stuff over and over again, especially with overconsumption. You go to Best Buy or TJ Maxx, really any of these stores, and they all have credit cards that you could open that they'll try to sell you on when you're at the cashier, especially if it's a larger purchase. Maybe you'll get an extra 10% off or triple the amount of points, something like that, right? All you got to do is take out the TJ Maxx credit card or the Best Buy one. You'll get extra points shopping here with the card also, and then you do that week after week, racking up the balance. And then unfortunately it snowballs so much that you get into this situation and all those TJ Maxx fines don't seem too worth it in the end. But there are many people who believe that these credit card companies wouldn't care if you have a few hundred or maybe $1,000 or so dollars racked up, because that's not a lot of money to them. These are huge conglomerates that make millions or billions of dollars. So they're not going to deal with small fish like you and take you to court, but that's not true either. We have a comment and a clip that goes along with this. I work in a law office where these are the majority of the cases we deal with. There are so many cases like this that we send over 200 letters alerting people that they're being sued for their debt on a daily basis. And this clip backs up that claim as well.
If you have a Citibank collection, this is for you. This here is a real civil summons, a real lawsuit that was filed against our client because of a Citibank collection that they let sit there and that they did nothing about. Citibank has its own internal collections department, so even though the name hasn't changed, if it is in collection status, it is likely they will come after you with a lawsuit just like this. If you have collections, don't just let them sit there because they will turn into bigger headaches in the form of lawsuits, and if you ignore this, it turns into wage garnishment and a frozen bank account. Dispute your collections. If they come off your credit report, it means they don't have validation of the debt, so it's very likely that they don't have a case in court. Dispute your collections. If you can't remove them with disputes, then you negotiate the debt, and you also negotiate a pay per delete, so it comes off your credit report once you pay it. We do that for you. If you need assistance, link is in my bio.
Credit card debt will literally eat you alive, and I'm speaking from experience. Last week, I made my final payment of $12,000 in credit card debt. 2 years ago, I put $7,000 on a credit card, plus a shopping habit that I really needed to break, and that's how it all piled up. About 3 months ago, I wrote down a simple payoff plan, and I actually stuck to it. The first thing I did was declutter my space and sell anything that I could. Clothes, shoes, random stuff, because getting rid of things made me stop bringing new stuff in. The second thing I did was stop unnecessary shopping and use the things that I actually have, which literally saved me way more money than I expected. The third habit, and probably the most important one, was staying consistent with my credit cards, and I did that through KiwiPop. I check it weekly and I see all of my cards and balances in one place, and I make payments as often as I can, even small ones, instead of avoiding it. That's what helped me stop letting interest eat me alive. I also picked up side hustles like dog walking, UGC, babysitting, mostly to stay busy and to make extra money so I'm not out there spending. My biggest takeaway is this: you don't have to do everything at once. Sell what you can, spend less where you can, and make consistent payments instead of waiting for that perfect time. If you're in debt right now, it is not hopeless. Start small, stay consistent, and it will add up, I promise.
So what are the 3 prongs to a debt collection lawsuit? Very simple, just 3 things. Number 1, was it you that took out the credit card? Number 2, did you buy shit with that card? And number 3, can you afford to pay it? That's it. My name's Attorney Craig Singer. Yes, I am an attorney, but I'm not your attorney, so please don't take whatever I say as legal advice. But now you know. Peace.
Del Pickett says, who's being sued for debt in Texas? It's useless to sue in Texas. That's a great question. The truth is that most all creditors and third-party debt buyers are filing suits in Texas. As always, give us a like, give us a follow. I'm going to go into more detail about this, but if you know of anyone who is being sued for an unpaid or an alleged unpaid debt in Texas, feel free to share this with them. So in Texas, most creditors cannot garnish wages. This is typically reserved for IRS or unpaid child support, certain other exclusions. So those with a civil money judgment typically cannot garnish wages. However, there is an exception where they can freeze and levy bank accounts, and they can send constables out to see if there's any property that is owned by the judgment debtor that can be taken and sold to satisfy the judgment. So that being said, there are a lot of creditors, third-party debt buyers, and original creditors like banks, credit unions that are filing suits to the tune of about $250,000 to $300,000 per year conservatively in Texas alone. If you find yourself in a situation where you have an alleged unpaid debt and there's a lawsuit, or you're getting pre-legal collection letters, or if you find that you were sued and a judgment was rendered against you, I highly encourage you to reach out to a competent, qualified attorney who can assist.
Guys, let's talk about what happens when you're getting sued by a debt collector, what that means exactly. What that means is that you probably have a credit card or a personal loan or something that's outstanding that you defaulted on, whether it was a COVID issue, whatever it was. It happens all the time, and there's millions of people, so you're not alone. But what happens is that a lot of these third-party debt collectors buy these pools of debt in bulk. They pay pennies on a dollar for it. Yours is probably one of those accounts. So what they do is they hire what's called a representative attorney. They sit in court, usually on a Thursday or Friday. They go through each one of these cases. Now, the biggest thing that you have to understand is that representative attorney for a third-party debt collector probably doesn't have everything he needs to be able to prove your case. in his case. And what that means is that's called lack of standing. So you have an opportunity to defy that lawsuit right there and possibly win the case based on that. The idea, though, is you really don't want to go to court if you can possibly avoid that. There's a lot of things that you can do to avoid that situation altogether. Who wants to go to court? It's not fun. It takes time out of your day. It's usually during the day when most people are working. So it usually means a little bit of time off work and all that stuff. And then when you go to court, do you really know what you're doing? Do you really know the law? Do you want to be up against a skilled attorney and a judge that probably is looking at these things all day long and not understanding why you would even put up a defense, to be honest with you? They're going to ask questions. Do you owe the money? And people panic. They get choked up and they don't want to go to court. So there's a lot of different ways and many different avenues to keep you out of court, but you have to be skilled and you have to know how to do that. So one of the things that you have to understand is when you get served the documents, now you're either going to get served by a process server, which is the preferred way to do it. Sometimes you get served by mail. You want to pay attention to that. And the reason you want to pay attention to that is because that's crucial. That's a critical element moving your case forward. If they're sloppy doing that, they're probably going to be sloppy in court. Most times that representative attorney, all he has is a spreadsheet. You're thinking he's got all this evidence, even though when they serve you the documents, they served you a summons, a complaint, and usually some exhibits. Those exhibits usually amount to nothing more than statements that you had from your credit card. That's not proof that you owe the debt. It's far from it. They've got a long way to go to be able to prove that not only you owe that debt, but they have the right to collect it. They paid pennies on a dollar for your account. They're going to come after you for the full amount. Most of the time, they don't have everything they need to be able to prove your case. So you have to be smart. Most people do nothing at all. They panic or they hide and they hope that it goes away. It's not going to go away. Once they file against you in court, it's moving forward. And they're counting on you not understanding, panicking, and doing the ostrich defense, which is just sticking your head in the sand and hoping it goes away. Not to. So here's what you need to do. You need to understand the case. Don't panic. Handle your business. There are people out there that are skilled at going through this, navigating these murky waters. I'm glad to help. Just click my link on my bio. I'm here for you.
If you have a collection, they will sue you. This company's being taken to court because they did not pay PNC Bank. Now PNC Bank is taken up to court for the full amount that they originally owed. What you want to do is immediately, once it goes to collections, is we call the third party. We will negotiate with them directly for 50% of what they owe and ask and request for a pay for delete. If you pay them without a pay for delete, it will be stuck in your record for another 7 years. So if you need assistance with disputing and negotiating collections strategically, links in our bio for help.
Great question. So listen, when you get a summons or notification that you are being sued by a debt collector and they're using an attorney, listen, this is an effort to scare you off, and so many people are scared off. Let me tell you what you've got to do instead of running scared. You have to respond. 90% of the people in the United States who get notification of a lawsuit from a debt collector do not show up, and the judge gives them a default judgment. Most of those cases, 80%, could have been won. So you're going to do one of two things at the very beginning. You are either going to answer this suit by explaining to them what you did. I did debt validation. I didn't get the answers, the information, I don't owe this debt. I don't know this, whatever. That's an answer. Or two, which I like a lot better, you are going to file for the dismissal of this lawsuit. Now, when you're filing for dismissal, you're looking at the information they filed in their complaint to get this lawsuit in place. And you're looking for the errors. And trust me, 90% of them have errors because they never expect you to take this to court. So you're going to do one of two things, either an answer or a dismissal. But what you are never going to do is not respond and allow them to get a default judgment. Well, I'm so glad to help you. For others who've watched this video and you're looking for help, please check the links in my bio, as there you're going to see my debt validation combo pack that solves most problems with debt collectors.
So how many of you open your mail and you realize, fuck, I'm getting sued. I'm getting sued by Midland, Portfolio, LVNV, one of these guys? How many? I'm sure a million of you. And the problem is, I know what you're going to do. You'd be like, fuck it, right in the garbage. Don't do that, right? Because that's like stupid. Be smart about this, right? These people went out and they bought a particular card that you use. Let's just say it was an express card. And you whacked up the card for maybe $600, and then shit happens and you couldn't pay it. That's fine. At the end of the day, they bought that card. They bought that card for probably $20, and they're coming after you for the $600. But this is the kicker. You can't just fucking ignore the lawsuit because you're going to lose automatically. And then you lose. Now they're coming after your paycheck. They're coming after your fucking car. They're coming after your bank account. I say it all the time, but I really need people to really understand the concept of not blowing off court. My name is Attorney Craig Singer. I am an attorney, but I'm not your attorney, so please don't take this as legal advice. Peace.
Watch out for these debt collectors on this list. They're suing everyone. I've made it easy for you, so if you send me a message and you get served, I'll send you the link for Solo Suit. Solo Suit will respond for you, and a lot of times you don't have to go to court, meaning that it can get dismissed.
Well, Shay, I don't mind if I do, because that store credit card y'all have, then people want their money. My name is Attorney Johnson. I am a civil and criminal litigation attorney. That means anything you come into my office and tell me, I have to go stand in front of that judge and tell your story the best. Now, this is not legal advice. This is for educational purposes only. Every state law is different. Now, this is specific to Texas law. As with any credit card, you know you're going to get that statement in the mail. But my question for you is, did you know that you can require them to validate that debt? Yeah. I don't care if you know exactly the charges you made, exactly the trip you were shopping for. You can request and demand, as a matter of fact, that they validate that debt. And of course, by validate, that just means prove that the debt belongs to you. Now, if you didn't know that, I'm pretty sure you also didn't know that when you request that they validate the debt, they have to cease all collection efforts until they prove to you or provide to you the validation, the result of their investigation regarding whether that debt belongs to you. And I have quite a few people call me and say, well, they sold the debt. I don't even know who these people are that are contacting me, but they sold the debt to somebody else. So doesn't that mean I don't have to pay? No, ma'am. No, sir. They don't have to tell you. But specifically, if it's a consumer debt, they don't have to tell you. Now, mortgage is a different story. The mortgage, we're not talking about mortgage debts right now. Speaking of keeping secrets, you don't have to admit you owe that debt. No, I'm not telling you to lie. Don't you tell that judge I said. I'm telling you specifically that you do not have to admit the debt belongs to you. Now, you remember in video before last, I taught y'all to document everything. And in that video, I said, when you accuse someone of doing something, of violating a law, you have to prove it. So if they're dragging you into that court saying you owe them money, they have to prove it. And you, my friend, are innocent until proven guilty. Do not go in that courtroom talking about, that was my... Don't make me mad. I don't care if you wear the very dress that you bought with that credit card to court. You don't admit that that belonged to you, baby. You make them do their job. Make them people do their job and prove it belongs to you. I'm going to tell you something else. When it comes to debt collection, they are petty enough to sue you, but in reality, they don't want no smoke. They really just don't want to lose out on the debt and get nothing. So I'm telling you, they want to settle. And you're smart. So you may be saying, well, Attorney Johnson, how am I going to settle a debt that I'm not even admitting belongs to me? A settlement contract does not require admissions. Some people feel like, man, that was 20 years ago. I don't remember what I was doing around that time, so I can't say that belonged to me. But look, I'm just trying to put this behind me, so let's work something out. Then I step in and negotiate the amount that's due. But be careful. If you need to make monthly payments, make sure you set it at an amount that you know you can keep up with. Because if you miss one payment, they can take you back to court and sue you for the full amount that you originally owed. So what's the moral of the story? Validate, negotiate, settle. If you find yourself needing help, give me a call. I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to walk through this together.